Hey, good evenings, Cape Flood Stories. Goeienaand julle. Hoop het gaan goed saam met julle almal. I'm just waiting for some of my guests to arrive. I've got one in the studio, Jovan. The others will join us now regarding the proposed relocation in Mitchell's Plain. I've also messaged Fadil Adams. I just want to hear from him. Also, what's happening from their side. So, because a lot of you have asked me, why can't Fadil speak? Why can't that one speak and this one speak? So, to your plea, I asked Fadil, so he's going to join me now. Now, he's joining me, and we're going to have a nice discussion. I want you guys to ask the questions that is relevant to what's happening in Mitchell's Plain. So I want you guys to post your questions, and then we can get the guys to answer them, and talk more about this, because I think many people don't know really what this is going to bring to the table, bringing 2,000 more people into a community that's already suffocating in many areas, education when it comes to crime and things like that. So we're going to talk about this. Let me just add my guest tonight. I've got the Kaapse Pit, I don't know, maybe Kaapse Pitbull. His name is Fadil Adams. And I've got Jovan, so they're going to join me, and then we're going to have a little chat on what's happening and, you know, the way forward. Good evenings, Fadil. Welcome to Cape Flood Stories. Long time.
Hey Stan, it's been a while. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good yourself, man.
All right, all right.
Hey,
I'm just
Jovan.
trying. My daughter told me to get my camera angles right. Apparently, my nose looks big as a.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
trying
no,
to
was
keep everyone
but
happy.
welcome, man. Hey, Jovan, how's it?
Evening, Stan. Are you? Evening, Counselor. How are you doing? How are you
Good,
doing?
man. Good, good. Um, Fadil, let us
Yes,
jump
sir.
into the big thing. I know you've been advocating the last couple of days. You guys had also a bit of a, not a strike, but a protest, but not a non-violent protest, about your concerns. Just tell us more about from the CCC side. What is your fear about relocating those people to Mitchell's Plain?
Look, there's no fear.
Mm-mm.
It's just scientific study
Yeah.
that this will only bring more overcrowding, more crime, more
Yeah.
displaced school children, more
Yeah.
competition for jobs that already aren't there. There's no fear.
Mm-mm.
We can only
Yeah.
work with what's in front of us. The fact of
That's
the
right.
matter is that Mitchell's Plain has not been consulted. There's been
Mm-mm.
no impact assessment. Now, you know what? If
Mm.
you're going to displace 6,000 people and
Mm-mm.
force them on Mitchell's Plain, how do you not have an impact assessment study? How do you not
Mm.
look at the worst case scenario? How do you not have a safety plan? How do you not
Yeah.
engage SAPs? How?
Yeah.
I mean, it boggles the mind.
That's right.
So, as far as we are concerned, this cannot go ahead.
Mm-mm. And many people make this a race issue. There's those people that are out there. I've read the article last week. The people of Mitchell's Plain and Strandfontein are racist, but people are not racist. People are just raising their concern. And like you've correctly said, that they didn't. Hulle het nie 'n feasibility study gedoen om te kyk what is really going to happen. We already have issues getting out. If there's a protest, we can't get to work. Paul, those living in discipline, Paul, the R300, wherever. We're really struggling. And adding these things to that already problematic things just makes it difficult for us and more frustrating.
You know, Stan, how was it the race issue? When in
Mm-mm.
Johannesburg last year, people tried to invade land and
Yeah.
black landowners chased them away,
Mm.
saying you are going to affect A, our property prices, B, our
Yeah.
standard of living, three, our
Yeah.
service delivery issues. So how is
Mm-mm.
it okay when one group does it, but it's not okay when another group does it? I mean,
Mm.
how is it okay that people can let me put you in the picture? My five
Mm-mm.
cents, my dim-witted mind
Yeah.
enlightening you to what how we see it. How many people do you know that live in backyards tonight, right? Anywhere on the
Mm.
Cape Flats, can pack up tens of thousands of them, relocate to the
Yeah.
Eastern Cape, set up
Mm.
shack. How many
Mm.
people can afford it? Virtually none.
None.
So
Mm.
the issue of poverty must be questioned here because a poor person does not have the means to move to
Yeah.
the Eastern Cape
Mm.
or to move to another province. Build, what does a shack cost? 5,000 rand easily? 3,000,
Yeah.
5,000, 6,000? I don't know.
Mm.
So the poverty that is thrown in my face must be questioned. And you know what? Once the shacks are up, take a drive through it. Every second shack seems to have a car these days. Better than that,
Yeah.
half the shacks aren't even occupied. It's a case of I put up my shack, I get a number, and I jump the housing queue. And we are
Yeah.
totally against this. And if anyone wants to make it a race issue, then let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. But that is the same thing, Jovan, that is currently going to happen from information that we got here. And then I think that is what people are also very much upset about is they are building houses. I think it was going to be 1,400 houses. I think they have downscaled it now to 740. And people are questioning who's going to get to the houses. Because in many cases, the people that has been, our people in the area that's been on the list for 30, 40 years are still without houses while other people get houses, that has been on there for 10, 5, not even 5 years. So I think it's also affecting Strandfontein, Jovan.
Yeah, and I think it's also just they will bring it up and they will say
Siobhan, you
like
got no sound on my side, bro. I don't know about you, Stan.
Yeah, I can I can hear him.
Can you hear me?
I've got no audio
Yeah.
here. Let me switch my camera off.
Okay.
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
It's fine.
Yes, I can hear you now perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think it's also they always bring this thing. They say it's about race, but it's more like if you take race out of the picture, it's like, listen, I want a proper service delivery. As a person, whether I'm a person of color, whether I'm black, white, Indian, doesn't matter. If you are giving a certain service to a area, and we all Sea Point, CBD, Pinelands, wherever area you want to go in, there's a certain service that gets given here. It doesn't get given here. There's a consultation that happens in those areas that doesn't happen here. And I think that's been going on for years. There's no communication. There's little to almost no communication within our communities. We get known about it after the thing happens, and they say no, but like I read now, this is something they want to extend the short lines, okay, just with Instagram thing. I just got a notice now, so they want to extend it, and that's from Pavilion through to 9 Miles area. They want to extend it to shark cage diving, which means they're obviously going to be throwing meats, they're going to get bladders in the water. So they're having the public participation meeting between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Who is at
When
home?
we all are working. We all are working.
We are a working community. The whole of Mitchell's Plain is working community. Everybody's in the CBD that time. Or they work.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have a public participation meeting at 2 o'clock, between 2 and 4. Only your councillors is going to be there for those who want to attend. There are groups of people that's there. And this is about some. I look at it, Fadil, you were saying about the land grabs and people coming. I'm like, then why don't we do it? Why don't we go take land? We might as well do it, because that seems to be what's good for the one should be good for the other, but it doesn't seem to be that way. It seems as if when the moment we want to do it, then it becomes an issue. Then they bring race in.
Siobhan, can I assist you there? May I? I've seen coloreds try and attempt to take land many times. You know what happens? They get shot off.
Outpay.
Two sets of rules for two sets of people. It is not us making this a race issue. We are just trying to get by, trying to exist ourselves. I'll give you a very recent example. Last year, Main Road, Delft. Colored backyarders tried to take land. They got shot, bro. I tell you, it was brutal. 2 weeks later, our cousins from the Eastern Cape came and took the land peacefully. It's there.
But that is the thing. They are painting this thing that you know what, it's okay for a certain group of people to take land. They are making it a race issue. And like you say, Biden Powell has expanded over the years. I honestly don't see them throwing down the shacks there or doing whatever. It's just expanding. One of these days, Biden Powell will be on Musenberg as well. And that is a big problem. This is going to be a big problem.
Maybe that's their plan. I don't know. But just they're putting up the 750 houses in this area. And that's what they're saying. They're saying this is going to happen. It's a dictation. So and this is what I said last week. Why are they dictating to us? You don't get to dictate to me anymore. This is not apartheid, bro. We passed that stage of where you telling us what to do. Like it comes to a point of we saying this is our area, because again, if this was Sea Point, you would not allow this. Your ratepayers and everybody else would not allow this if this was Sea Point. Yet here you want to flip it and say no, it's going to happen whether you like it or not. I'm saying no. Somewhere they've got this whole thing twisted where they think that we have to be subjected to what their rules and regulations are. I said,
Yeah,
I pay my
yeah.
rents, bro. I pay my taxes, I pay my water, I pay everything. Is now all
Yeah.
of a sudden you want to tell me you want to come? Our infrastructure, we know Mitchell's Plain over the last 25 years has not been upgraded. We've been upgrading the area. We're the ones that go to promenade. We're the ones that shop. It's our money going into the area. All of this stuff. Yet nothing seems to be happening.
Mm, mm. But I just want to bring Nolan in. Good evening, Nolan. Welcome to Cape Flood Stories. Your point of view on the property. You are a property guru. You know what this does to the property market.
I can't hear
Um,
you guys. It's very soft.
can you hear us now? Let me just do something quickly
Very
on your
soft.
side. Just do something on your
My
side.
mic is
You loud,
on.
Melody. We can hear you.
Can you hear us now?
That's
Okay,
right.
there we go. Okay. Nolan, from your side, what will this do to our property value?
It will drop with immediate effect, my dear. I'm very worried
Mm-mm,
about it.
mm-mm,
And I don't think, that we've been given a fair platform to sort of air our views. And if I say we, I mean, the Strandfontein community.
mm-mm. So this will affect Strandfontein and
Can
Mitchells
you
Plain
hear me?
because yeah, I can hear you 100%. So it will affect Mitchells Plain and Strandfontein as well because
Both.
property we are paying a lot
And
of
I
we are
can, I
paying a
can,
lot of
I can,
yeah.
I
You
believe you
can
we're
have the
paying a
mic
lot
on,
of
Nolan.
rates playing into account. Can you hear me now?
yeah. Yes, we can hear
You
you.
can. And I can tell you from experience that people are selling now like hotcakes because everybody wants to get out of Strandfontein and Mitchell's Plain. Every second house has a for sale board on. Well,
Mm-mm,
I'm not complaining, it's business for me. But at the end of the day, the problem is that, why should we be selling the properties when the government thinks nothing of just dumping those people, by us, and they won't do it in a white area. That's my argument.
mm-mm, mm-mm. And that is so true because I think it wasn't. I think Fadil, you can help me. It was in Table View where people complained about the
Yes,
RDP house that was going to be built there,
it was.
and
It was.
with immediate effect, the whole thing was stopped.
Stopped.
Um,
Yes.
but now, why is it that when we complaining, all of us are racist? That is my biggest question.
Exactly. So I'm all for the making a noise to get this thing stopped. I'm waiting for that. I think we should act. The talking should stop. We should act now.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
And I agree with you, Fadil. Um, in you were in council in sy het al lekker die mense uitgeskel. That you stood up for the people and you said, "Kyk, julle gaan nie dit doen na BOC." Do you think they're taking us serious? Do you think that they're listening to us? Because at the end of the day, it's up to the decision makers to find a
Listen,
solution.
put put for those of us that don't know, we live in a dictatorial society. The white man issues orders and we fall in line. That's what it is, it's what we voted for. You saw how quickly they could flip that table view decision
Yeah.
when white people were complaining. These are only colored complaints, so they don't really hear it. They've got our votes
True.
and they've got 5 years they've got 5 years worth of damage containment to do. That's how they see it. And that's exactly what they're going to do. You must understand something, Stan. This thing has been coming on for a few years.
Mm.
We've only just heard about it. I
Yeah.
sat in that council meeting. Now I've got to listen to the housing development agency say, listen carefully to what they say.
Mm-mm.
We have done our consultation. We have the buy-in of Langa and Kailicha.
Mm-mm.
That's what they say. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. And it's in the
Yeah.
minutes. Is this a real presentation? Because it sounded like a joke to me.
Yeah.
Because you're not telling me that you've got the buy-in of Mitchell's Plain.
Mm-mm.
Yet Mitchell's Plain is going to be the affected community.
Exactly.
You see how they treat us as an afterthought.
Definitely.
Now let me tell you what's going to happen, Stanley. these people are going to be moved.
Mm-mm.
The powers that be will not house them by the agreed date. No housing project ever gets fixed on time.
That's
Am
right.
I right?
Mm.
Stones will fly. Petrol
right.
bombs will be thrown at our cars.
Mm-mm.
Our women and children will be hurt. The decision
Yeah.
makers will be safe in Constantia, in Tableview, and Durbanville. And we are expected to live like this. Now, I ask you again, why in the fight for integration and housing must the colored be the loser?
Mm.
These people are going to get houses.
Yeah.
They're about to be rewarded for building their shacks on the trainway line. And our aunties waiting patiently in that queue, patiently updating their details every few years,
Yeah.
are going to
Yeah.
die in backyards.
Mm.
Now, I ask the question again, was a fitness assessment done? Who's over 40 years old? Who qualifies for a house based on their earnings? Who
Yeah.
is disabled?
Mm-mm.
Who already owns property?
Yeah.
Who is on the housing waiting list? Who's been a beneficiary of housing? Because there are cases of people receiving RDP houses 2, 3, and 4 times.
Mm-mm.
Go and have a look at
Exactly.
Go and have a look at East River. Go and see how many people, locals, are renting houses from people from the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
I got my keys, I'll rent a house,
True.
and I'll go back home.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So we
Yeah.
are saying that the housing process is skewed and it
Yeah.
discriminates against coloreds.
Mm-mm.
And you know what? I say it again. If anybody wants to make it a race issue, come at me. I'm right here. Not going anywhere.
Fadil, you have said now, and that is so true. If you look at the houses doesn't go to the people that has been previously expropriated. You know, like our aunties that lost their houses, that they were never compensated. These properties go, and it is exactly so. It doesn't go to our people. Our people are renting. This my one aunt. She was one of the people that with my mother that were removed from Constantia, and she can't afford a house, so now she has to rent. She's paying 4,500 rent every month. Rent. She still have to work. She's 65 years old, and she can't get her own. Now she's been on the list for the last 35 years. Whereas to, and this is the reality, and I think many of you know of people like this in our community. There's
Yeah.
more of our people that can't get their own homes. The houses go to other areas. If they do take the land and do build houses and give it to Mitchell's Plain, people, build schools there, then it will add value. But bringing more people in doesn't add any value.
Stan, if I have my facts right, the housing white paper says that 80% of all housing opportunities must go to the host community. Where's that ever happened? These people are in breach of their own laws, man.
That's right.
But you see, it's what happens when you play politics with people's needs.
Mm-mm.
This influx from the Eastern Cape, they see it as votes. It's a trade-off. The DA is using our housing rights to buy black votes. It's what it is.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
Mm-mm. That is a sad reality. Jovan, do you think, you know what, me and you, we still, I wouldn't say young anymore. Do you think
Yeah,
we
young. What's the
we
I'm
pick
still
up,
young, my bro. I'm 46.
do you think we sell and we go while we have time? Or
But
do
you
we
see, yeah, continue.
or do we fight this?
But you see, and this is the problem that we sit with, because you got, and I say we in between the generations of the ones that fought before us, and they fought, and this is what I spoke about last week. I spoke to the seniors and they said, Jovan, we fought for this. When they moved into Stramontain, when they moved into the surrounding areas, I mean, when Westridge was just built, this was all areas that certain things they had to fight for. And now they're just dumping people. It's like a reverse. It's basically like apartheid, just in a different form, where they're saying this is what's going to happen. So to me, I'm like, listen, because we can move, Stan, we can move. You know what I mean? Like, we can go out of here and we won't have any problems. We can go and get to the house and we can do whatever. Go to the leafy suburbs and turn a blind eye. But then you got a whole generation that's sitting not knowing how to stand up. And you ask yourself, okay, but now who is going to stand up for us? And that's where I'm saying, okay, then then to me personally, let's rather stand up and fight. Let's stand up and say, you know what, okay, shut down Mitchell's Plain. You want to shut down, then we'll shut down the workforce because we are the workforce. Whether, I mean, somebody was saying it's in Makassar as well, they want to dump houses, but we're the workforce, everybody here. And it's exactly like every time when it comes to elections, they come, they give their food parcels, they do what they need to do so that they can get the votes, and then they go. Then they leave the people, like Fadil said, for the next 5 years because they are not being kept accountable for the decisions they make. Nobody keeps them accountable. Nobody, because they've got the power, they've got the votes already. So for my side, I'm saying we fight. We take this thing head on, bro. We don't back down.
I got a CCC membership for you, Buddha.
I can't hear you, Stan.
Listen, Stan, we can't hear you.
We can't hear
Sorry,
you.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Sorry, I apologize for that. Living Peru says here, you're going to, if you sell, what would you be able to afford? I mean, property in Cape Town is ridiculously overpriced. Compare the property in Cape Town compared to Joburg. You can buy yourself a little farm for 1.5, 1.6 million rand. Yeah, you're going to sell your house, then you're going to have to buy maybe a flat in
Yeah.
Luxembourg, wherever, So do you say, Nolin, do we sell? Like I just asked, what's his name now, Jovan, now, do we sell? Or do we stand up and say, but look here, we now really had enough of all this dictating. And we tell them this is not going to happen on our watch.
I would go for the latter. We need to act.
Mm-mm.
You see, we've been sandwiched, man.
Mm-mm.
So we need to act. I'm all about acting and getting this thing off the ground so that they can see and hear and understand that we are not taking their nonsense anymore. Because
Yeah.
let me tell you, with the subsidy system, there's certain criteria you've got to follow. The so-called other skin colored people. They will come and bring the cousin today to me. Tomorrow they bring the other cousin. The next day they bring the next cousin because they all fit the criteria. They must be 40 years and older, 10 years on the waiting list, and then you qualify to buy a house. And the rest of the money they bring in a black bag, and only you do the offer to purchase. Where do they get all the monies from? But they want to stand on the streets and beg. We want to feel sorry for them. They're always the people that get the handouts. Yet they are the people that if you look at the thing properly, they are the people that's gaining all the way.
Yeah. And you are right. That is the truth. Yeah.
I just want to cut in there. I just want to make it known. I do not agree 100% with that statement. However, here's my 5 cents worth of advice. The black man has taken the time to learn the system, to learn how to benefit from the system. We've just been too damn lazy to do it. That's the difference right here. So we either learn to duplicate or we learn to do it better. That's what it comes down to. Stan, what's happening here? And I'm not going to play politics with this. But what's happening here is pure politics. This influx is driven and financed by the ANC. Say it any way you want to. This is how they intend to win political power in the Western Cape. You must understand Mitchell's Plain is a key point. And this issue that we're facing here is not a Mitchell's Plain issue. See Capricorn and Vrygrond, Steenberg and Lavendale. See what's the Wallace, not Wallasden, in Kraaifontein. All these land invasions, they are engineered. They're all engineered. The plan here is to weaken Mitchell's Plain. Mitchell's Plain is the economic hub of not Cape Town, the whole bloody Western Cape.
That's right.
As poor as we are, our GDP is 3 times the size of Stellenbosch, and that's a whole municipality. That's a whole municipality. Yes. We contribute, I think, 17 times more to the economy than Durbanville. Do you understand how mighty we are? The plan is to weaken us. The plan is to take that economic power away from us. The plan is to inflate our SASA recipients.
Mm.
Do you know Mitchell's Plain gets almost 1 billion rand a month in SASA? Those little 350s and child grants and that type of thing. Now that points you to the abject poverty of Mitchell's Plain. That so many of our people are dependent on the system. And the plan is to keep us dependent. And that's
right.
what we're missing. This is not about housing.
Mm-mm.
This is not about housing. Our poor are nothing but victims in political crossfire. That's what it
Yes.
is.
Father, and you're
But,
so right. Once they
but
cripple
then
us,
coming,
yes,
I would say that, if we as the so-called colored community just stand together, we can fight the fight. But we don't. We are there to rip each other apart.
that's right.
Instead of standing together and facing the music like the black people do. They don't even know what's going on in a fight, but they're going to fight with because they stand together. But we want to press each other down and we want to label each other instead of standing together. If we unite, we are mighty. But the word is if. It should be when.
En I wanna ek agree saam met jou. And Fadil, just to come back, you know what? We know all these things are happening. But when do we, as the people, colored people, I'm not sorry to bring in race, that's how we've been dubbed as colored people. When do we realize to stand together? When do we realize it's time to take hands, irrespective
Yes,
of our religion, our background, whatever? When do we get to that
yes.
point? Because there's
Stan,
thousands of us here in Cape Town.
Stan, we are the most
But
divided people in
there's
the
also
world.
that.
We discriminate on the basis of skin color. Fairer skin colored seem to think more of themselves. I remember as a lady, my green-eyed cousins used to get preferential treatment by the elders. We discriminate on the grounds of religion. So weet jy, kry hy waterslams goed tussen, that's all thrown at you. We discriminate on texture of hair, on financial status, on street. And like I live in Westridge, you know, by the fire station,
Yeah.
and that's like the status symbol in Mitchell's Plain. You know, it's like I don't get it. It's like Eastridge is dangerous when they speak in Westridge. It's just that, well, not they, when some people speak, it doesn't make any sense. So you know what? If it's unity you're looking for, forget it. We work with the willing. It's how we've
That's
always operated.
Mm.
But now I just want to get back to something that I actually missed a few minutes ago when Jovan and Nolene were talking about, we can't move, we have to fight. Let me explain something to you about fighting. When the Sikalo riots happened, what was it, 3 years ago? And they were hurting our women and stoning our cars. And we went Badonat, myself and a few friends. Well, thousands of people, but I remember myself and a few friends. And you know what? It was time, KK, man. You know what? You want to fight? Let's do this. We went into Sikalo. Do you know what happened? 8 people from Mitchell's Plain were arrested. 40 people from Sikalo. So the Sikalo arrested crew were let out to the back door of the police station the next morning. Our people had to go to court for a year.
Yeah.
Do
For
you
standing up.
understand? Bro, when we got to the robots, SAPs pointed the guns at us. They fired tear gas at us. The buggers who were stoning cars and hurting people, they never did that to them. They get treated with kids' gloves. So what I'm saying to you is if we're going to talk fighting, you must understand that there's severe risks involved and severe penalties to be paid. Because those 8 men that were locked up, and my brother was one of them, they went to court every month for a year and had maybe 10 people in support out of 1.4 million people.
And
So
that's the sad reality.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm
You stand
saying.
alone, stand alone.
But let me tell you this. And when I say we, you know who I'm referring to. I'm not going to mention my party name or nothing. We are prepared to fight. We are prepared to go to prison for this. Because this is not about housing. This is an ethnic cleansing. That's what it is.
But Father, also this does not only happen in Mitchell's Plain. It's happening
That's what
all
I'm saying.
over on the
All
Cape.
over.
There is what's the place? The Bastien Villa. There is
Yeah.
they're gonna turn what's the place's name also? Then they in Parkwood, what's that? The old School of Skills, the Plantation Road. They're throwing
Yeah.
that down. Now also, how do you throw that down? build houses there, but you don't give the people of power good houses. You're going to bring people from other areas in, from from your retreat to those areas. So what are you telling the people that's currently living there? We're not going to look after you. We're going to look after other people. So they're starting this war under us. Hulle begin te doen onder ons. And our people are buying into it because I'm getting a free house. And I think that is what we need to also look at. What is the motive behind this?
You must understand that ultimately you get the government that you vote for. You get the government that you deserve. It's not just anybody making this decision. It's our elected office bearers. We asked for this. We have begged for this. And until we open our eyes and understand that there's nothing wrong with picking leaders from amongst our own community. And when I say leaders, I'm talking about proper leaders. I'm talking about qualified people. I'm talking about skilled people. I'm not talking about ex-gangsters and druggies like me. I'm talking about real leaders. Only then will things get better. You know, it's a shame. Well, for me, it's a shame. I don't know how other people feel about it.
Yeah.
That at this moment, the only political party fighting for colored people is a political party headed by a former gangster, recovering drug addict. They're so much better than me. So much better than me. Why they don't stand up, I don't know. I don't know.
Is that because of what also happens here, Fadil, is once we make it, then we forget about our people. Where we come from. Somebody said that is our biggest problem is that we move out of our areas once we become successful, and we don't help those that's staying behind. We're not investing back into the community. Can that be one of the problems?
Dan, haven't we seen this before? People move out of Mitchell's Plain, they move out of Parkwood, they move out of Lavendale, and all of a sudden, the kids can't spend weekends there anymore. We've seen it over and over. That the minute I've made it, well, you know what, I've made it, tough that is for the rest of you. It's just what it is. So what the rest of us have to do, those of us that have chosen to stay, we have to lace our boots and get ready to fight, bro. You know, I'm tired of people that live in the leafy suburbs telling us how we should live. That's just not on. You can't apply Constantia bylaws to Mitchell's Plain. It makes no sense. And you know what? Worse than that, rand per square meter. You and I pay exactly the same rates as what the people in Constantia do. But we get inferior services. But we get their will imposed upon us. But they make decisions to keep them safe and to make it dangerous for us. When do we say no to all of this? How do... Bro, you know what? It's going to come to the point, I'm going to tell you now, where physical violence is going to happen, and it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. Let's see, it's like almost managed to feel fat, man. And I think that we're at our breaking point now. You know, since 94, nothing really has changed for white people. Yeah, they suffer a little bit of inconvenience with traffic, blah, 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 blah. But their standard of living has not changed. In fact, there's some survey that shows that they've actually gotten a little bit richer since 94. For black people, for the most part, things have not changed. That's the truth. You know, many of us say, yeah, hulle kry. You know what we see? It's a drop in the bucket. Because for every black man that gets a job, there's tens of thousands that never will. It's what it is. But you know what? This is where you take responsibility for it, because this is what you vote for. However, apartheid was not my sin. I did not benefit from it, contrary to what certain people think. Why do I have to pay the sin tax for apartheid? Why in the effort to uplift the black man, must you stand on the head of the colored man? That is the burning question. That's the question no one's asking. When did it become okay to treat us as a nothing? You must remember, 1989, this province consisted of 67% colored. Who liberated this country? It was us. Where did the struggle start? Wentworth, KZN, a colored suburb. Where did it spread to? Pontyville. Now all of these people claiming land here as if they belong here, treating us as if we were some type of past boys to the white man. They need to go and read history, proper history, and understand that we are stakeholders in this country too.
Yes.
That we have needs too.
And I think all of us are stakeholders. Fadil, yes.
We must take up our rightful place then. It's like I said, it's no use talking
know,
we
I'm
need
not
to
hearing you, love.
act, and we
Sorry,
need to put a plan together in order to get that sorted out.
Mm-mm.
Can
And
you?
I think, Nailan, yeah, we can hear you. But I think just to add to what you're saying, we need leadership to lead us. We need people to lead us. We need the right
Definitely,
people to actually
definitely.
lead us because you know what? I look at our people. Everybody want to be a leader, but then everybody should be a leader. And for that reason, we are making the wrong choices, the wrong decisions. And I think we need to realize we need to look at the strong people in our communities, and those people should become our leaders. We should take that roles if we know we are leaders. One of the things in our communities, we have a lot of churches, we have a lot of mosques. We even have more mosques and churches, or not mosques but churches, than elderly homes, than the recreational facilities.
You
We have a
don't have
lot
to
of
be
those.
scared. You don't have
Yeah.
to be scared of the Muslim people. You can say it, Stan. It's okay.
No, but we have all these facilities. But the thing is this: we are not really we're not really doing these things or using these facilities for our people. We're not educating our people. We're not looking at, you know, the last 20, 30, 28 years, we are also to blame because we were waiting for handouts as well. And for that reason, we have become lax. And for that reason, we are where we are. However, we need to get up and we need to start and see how are we going to fix our communities. Because it comes down, one of the things, just something small. If you look in our communities, Mitchell's Plain, most of the shops is not owned by us. But when our own people start businesses there, we don't support it. So what's the use of saying we're going to support our people? We want the people to have businesses, but when our people do have businesses, we don't go buy sisters or whatever they. We go to the other side of the curtain. So
Spend
we
my
also
money in
need
the
to look at things
waterfront.
like that.
But Stan, this is everybody. This is something that we can. This is something that we were taught.
Mm,
We were taught that you are second best. We were taught that you will get secondary school. This is stuff we were
yeah,
taught.
yeah,
We were, and then when we went to better schools, then it was almost as if this is something you must be happy about this. No, 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 to
yeah.
be blameless. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That you get to go to these places. You now get to go to, and this is years that we and now like it's we're coming to a place where, and literally it is what it is, where it's a boiling point where we're like, listen, and you can see it in the community. You can see it wherever we go, whether it's
mm.
any area in the Cape Flats, you can see that it's becoming to a point where it's going to start to break, where it's like, listen, Owens, the thing is going to get duck now, for lack of a better word, but this is literally what's happening because people they've had enough. They're fed up with what has been happening. But this is not something that just happened now last year and with the last elections and whatever else. It's been coming on for a good couple of years, and everything has been exposed and it's coming out in the open now. So when I'm saying yes, Fidel, yes, it's time to fight, it literally is that time, and there is a cost that comes with it. Are you prepared to get arrested? Are you prepared to put your name down? If you want to have a protest, is your name, because that's the person that's going to be accountable. They're going
That's
to
right.
come to you first. Are you the one
That's
that's
right.
going to take the
I'm
lawyer's
Yeah.
fees
I'm
and
being
everything else?
I'm being
And
sued for 1.8 million from the city right now for fighting
Right.
the colours.
exactly, and
They
this is the
take
thing
it
you
best
have,
friend.
and then in the same breath you'll have another party giving a big riot and nothing happens because it
That's
is
right.
what it is, and it
Yeah.
it must come, and it's not just the area anymore. It's not just a Stramontown. It's not just a Manenberg. It's a Cape Flats thing. This is where
Mm-mm.
we as a people must come
Yeah.
together. Will you take your
It's
political hats off, take your religion,
Mm.
take whatever you believe in, and say, listen, guys, it's all of us has to do this, and that's something I want to see. Every party of color, all of the leaders come together. That's something I want to see. And for a minute, where we say, you know what, let's do this together. Let's come together. Let's fight together. Because in order for that unity to happen, it must come from the political leaders, the leaders of the parties. It must come from that. And I understand the
Mm-mm.
different ideologies and I understand all the different mandates that everybody has, but
Mm.
it must come to a place where we're saying, like Friday was saying, where there is so many other leaders, where that leaders come together and say, you know, guys, how are we going to do this? Like Nolan is saying, wait, what's the point of action now? Because the talk is
Jovan,
wonderful, conversations are good. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But it's
Jovan,
time. Okay,
if I may,
okay.
sorry to butt in. I'm not interested in having a political decision with any colored that is not prepared to put the colored child first. I'm not interested.
Mm-mm.
That is my full stop. Because they want to talk to us about diversity and all this and all that. I'm saying, you know what? We got 27 years of corrective action to catch up on since democracy and 400 years since then.
Yeah.
If we don't put the colored child first now, the colored child will never play on an equal footing.
Yes.
Now, and all the other political parties will say this, they will say that, they will tiptoe around the issue. Our stance is clear. Die breinkind eerste. That's our starting point. If we don't depart from that point, we go nowhere. So, while we talk political unity, while we talk fighting, while we talk this, that, and the other, the pressing issue right now is the PRASA squatters. Now, I'm going to tell you now, I have fought the ANC, I have fought the Democratic Alliance, I've gone on a hunger strike, I have fought law enforcement. There's no more space in my lungs for tear gas, bro. We need more people to fight. Because this is not a fight that a handful of us can win.
Yeah.
You see, the sad reality of all of this is, you can call a public meeting tonight, and it affects 1.4 million people. You'd be lucky if you get 50 people there. Everybody wants to watch from the safety of their cell phones and their laptops. Everybody wants to comment and criticize from the safety of their couches.
That's right.
And that is why we will forever suffer. Even the people watching tonight, shaking their heads, commenting, agreeing.
Yes. Yes.
It's not
But
going
that's
to
the truth.
change a damn thing
That's
if you're
the
not there
truth.
physically.
Yes. Fadil, like there's a meeting happening. I think it's Thursday, not Jovan. Thursday.
Thursday at 7, yeah, Rocklands.
I mean, everybody is all up in arms. Everybody's defending themselves. But who's really going to attend this meeting? I've seen this
Bring
many
the
times.
numbers. Bring the numbers. That's what I want
That
to
is-
see.
That's the thing. Jovan.
It's about
Our
the
people
numbers,
need
yeah.
to sort also, they need to come out. I mean, they need to come out. They can't just say tonight here on Facebook or wherever, you guys need to bring the spotlight on it. There's no use. We can talk so much on Facebook, but the matter is, we need to go as a community, as people from the Cape Flats to wherever this coming Thursday, and we need to say, but look here, we're gonna stand up against. We are against what you guys are gonna implement. But ons mense kom nie in die nommers in nie.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the going trend, and I think it's because people are comfortable. People are comfortable in their homes. They've built their homes. They've got their pool. They sorted. They're comfortable. So you come home, but it's also a system, and you would know this. You travel to work. You come back at what time? Do you really want to go to a meeting after all the stress that you took from it? Because our traveling time from Mitchell's Plain to wherever is an hour and a half.
That's
and then
right.
coming back is another hour and a half. So you spend 3 hours. Now I must still go and fight for a community meeting, and then comes to a place of, yeah, but you know things are going to change. It's not going to change. It's going to be the same. It's the same run of the mill. It's the system that they put us in. It's how it's been all along. All along.
Your children's future is at stake.
And then
That's
added
right.
to that, Jovan, it is that, you know, now they still want to put more people into Strandfontein and you know, build the amount of houses that they said. You're already traveling half of your life to work and back again. Now, did they do a feasibility study on this project before they actually started it, or before it was actually ticked off as being done? Because, you know, if you check the traffic at 5 o'clock, how it builds up as Strandfontein is now, what is it still going to look like when that people build those houses there?
The feasibility study.
It's so many more children that has to go to school. Can we accommodate them? There's so many people going and coming from work. Can we accommodate them? There's so many factors that needs to be taken into account, which wasn't by the looks of it taken into account. It's just going to be dumped there.
Yeah.
So
But
that
that's the thing, I mean.
dumping there must just stop. It must stop.
That's
And
right.
we must stop just waiting. You know, we as colored people, we must really just face the truth. We wait for the one to talk before we say our say. In the meantime, we had it in our mind all the time, maar ons is te bang om te praat.
It's
That's
the braai
right.
chatter. I call it the braai chatter. You know, you talk like
So
that,
stop
the braai.
waiting for the one to make a move before the other one act. We must act as a unit.
You know how real this has become? I don't understand. The very first ever interview I did in my whole life, It was in relation to Sikalo. Our people had been arrested. We had the court. We were all frustrated. We don't know if these people are going to Portsmouth. And a journalist, Warda Wilkinson, who is very, very against my stance. And she's free to be against my stance because she doesn't live in my reality. You know what I mean? You can't, from the book up, where life is fairly comfortable and you don't have 3,500 murders a year, you don't have a 60% unemployment rate, you don't have Sikalo on your doorstep. Please, you know what? You're not entitled to a strong opinion. And she sticks a microphone in my face and asks me for comment. And I say what everybody's been thinking. These people need to go back to the Eastern Cape. People look at me in three ways. They looked at me like a madman. They looked at me as a racist. And certain people looked at me like I just invented fire. But what I said was what everybody was thinking. You see, you've got land in the Eastern Cape. You've got family in the Eastern Cape. You voted in the Eastern Cape. Go and hold your government to account. Go and, have you ever seen a housing protest in the Eastern Cape? I've never. Well, not in the recent, not lately. But here we have one a week, sometimes one a day, depending on the season. There are no real squatter camps in the Eastern Cape. In Cape Town, you can't drive 5 minutes without seeing it. Our standard of living has been compromised.
Yeah.
Our service delivery has been compromised. This government spends 800 million rand a year servicing informal settlements. Not a cent on backyarders. Do you understand the disparity? Do you understand how we have to suffer to accommodate people from elsewhere?
Yes. But also, Fadil, what I want to add quickly.
Don't mind me smoking. I saw this on Dave Chappelle.
No, that's fine. I had this conversation with the mayor, and I had this conversation with I think it was somebody in city, and you know what? This illegal connections to the electricity. That is the reason why we pay so a lot of money. That is one of the biggest problems. It affects us big time. So having more of these quarter camps in our communities affects us. Because we have people that don't pay, and for that reason, city needs to pay a bill every month or every year, and that bill is made up of us that's paying and those that's not paying, and that is the reason why I say, with all these quarter camps going up, it's going to affect us not only with traffic and frustration, but it's also going to affect us, when it comes to finances, when it comes to paying things. And I don't know. I think people should look at this and they should realize. Somebody said that our schools. There's a lot of. We have one high school in Strandfontein. And for that reason, we only have one high school. Many of the children of Mitchell's Plain and some of Kalitsa is coming to this high school. Our kids needs to go to other schools. So when you influx, it means that the resources is not available to the people in that area. And I think that is what it comes down to. More people means less for the people currently living here.
Yeah, and I also think one of the big things is education. When I say education, I mean our people don't know why they must attend these meetings. They don't know why it's important. They don't know what's going to happen to their properties. There's no education on the matter. So that's why we have low turnouts. Like somebody told me, they had a turnout and had a public meeting. You remember, Stan, when you were there, was over 250 people. I said 250 people in a ward that has 37,000 people. You're calling it a good turnout? I'm like, no, bro. The only reason why you're saying it's a good turnout is because your last turnout was 25 people. Yeah. Now all of a sudden 300 people is a lot. That's not a good turnout when it's 37,000. And I said, people don't know how this is going to affect your property valuations if you don't stand up for this now. It's like you said, Fadil, it's the next generation. It's the kids that is going to suffer if we don't do something about it now. I mean, if your valuation, this is my personal, the reason why they're doing all this, they want to keep the property valuations low. They want to do that. Because the moment it starts going up, no, because everybody's moving out to Plumstead. But now, all of a sudden, there's 2.8 million rand houses in Strandfontein. Hey, this don't make sense. So, in the same breath, you're saying you want to make Pavilion a tourist destination. 200 meters down the line is low-cost housing. How are you going to make that a tourist destination with low-cost housing on the corner where you busing in people from wherever, and it doesn't? And this is the reality. It's our people don't. We in the area, we go out to Woodstock to buy a liquor meal. And this was the systems put in place. Everything is outside of the areas we live in.
That's
You have
right.
to go to the highest
Yes.
form of industry. But there's no place that's really buzzing in the whole of the Cape Flats area where you can go and sit and be at peace and have the best meals and have a La Parada and have all of these places here. No, it's only in certain areas. Yet we go and we spend our money over there. And it's true. We are the economic hub of the Western Cape. We are. You go to Promenade at 11 o'clock in the morning, you see how full that place is.
It's chopping
You
block.
wonder if it weet die mense dat nie. But it's pumping. Why? Because we control the finance in the area.
That's right.
You
I just
have to
want to come back to Jackie's comment. People need to eat and survive, though. What about them? What about empathy for the situation? I understand that. You know, I understand that we need to. I mean, all of us are struggling. 30 years later, things has gone backwards in this country. But also, then again, if you look at the Cape Flats, it's like a little cage for hamsters. It's already small. And we're throwing more hamsters in there, more people in there with no water facilities, with nothing. It just means that later on we're going to kill one another. We're going to suffocate. So I understand. I'm not saying that they can't come to Cape Town, but let's look at how can we first improve what we. I mean, let's put it like this: the DA also had 16 years to improve the infrastructure, or 15 years. The ANC before that also had years where they could have improved the current infrastructure. Our infrastructure has been implemented and has been built by the apartheid government many years ago. Our structures are falling apart. If you come in the morning in my neighborhood, now this is a thing that I just want to tell you. So I work in Bellville. So when I leave my area, or in dan is die pad is vol. Strand en Dennig, Spynroad is vol. Jy kan nie uit nie. There's niks traffic cops nie, niks nie. So you're sitting there for hours to get out. My daughter has to wake up early in the morning just to go to school. And if you go to Bellville, so there was this section just before the R300 bridge as you come from Kells River into Bellville. There was daar was like a congestion daar gewees. Elke oggend is die traffic cops daar. Die karre kom toe deur van daar was te veel, die influx was nou te veel gewees in Kells River in. And you know what they did is they built an extra road on the other side. Sy was
frozen.
So wanneer kan jy my hoor?
I can hear you, yeah.
Hy disappeared daar so. But nevertheless, and then they fixed Bellville, Kells River, so there's more roads now, so people can get easily into Bellville. Where we live in our road, the Spine Road. All of us, Mitchell's Plain, wherever, Strandfontein, Bayview, wherever, must make use of Spine Road. When are we going to get to work? And I mean, with the toy-towing happening on Baden-Powell is not even safe anymore to go to work to. So I understand that we need to have empathy, but I think also our infrastructure is not going to allow us all. I mean, you look at 2,000 people in that side and another 1,000 people here in Strandfontein. It's 3,000 people.
I can't hear you, Lance.
Can you hear me now?
Just switch your mic off now, Lynn. If you switch your mic off, the sound gets better.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the reality, is that we don't have the infrastructure to host more people.
May I interject? May I add on to that? Charity should begin at home. In other words, closest to you. Now, I want to ask you a question. For 27 years, we've been on mute while this has been happening. You can take a walk in the promenade right now in a colored area where colored spend their money. How many people how many people from Mitchell's Plain, or how many colored people actually work in the promenade? It's like 80% black. Right? We've stayed on mute. We've never said anything for years. Now I ask you a question. Where is the empathy for us from these people coming from elsewhere? Where does a black man stand up and say, hold on a second, what about my colored brothers? Where does anyone in the housing queue say, hold on a second, I've been in Cape Town 5 years. Mama, you've been waiting for 40. You don't hear these things.
Yeah.
So if we're going to be sympathetic, let us be sympathetic with each other, because no one else has sympathy for us. Let me tell you something. In the housing department, generally speaking, the political head would be from the Eastern Cape. The ED is from the Eastern Cape. The manager is from the Eastern Cape. The CFO is from the Eastern Cape. This is generally speaking. Why are we shocked that the Eastern Cape is being prioritized? Yet this is what we vote for. We have to open our eyes, guys. This is a death march that they're sending us on. We can be as sympathetic, as empathic as we want to. You know, during COVID, during lockdown, we actually made food for Sikalo. We said, you know what, this is not the time for anything. We really don't want you on this corner. You stone our cars, you impede our movement. But you know what? Hunger is hunger, man. A black kid gets as hungry as my kids. It doesn't matter. However, COVID is past. And now we need to deal with the ugly reality. And the ugly reality is this. Colored lives don't matter.
And you know, I don't want to say it's true or it is not true, but I think that on the Cape Flats, things are not getting better. I mean, aside from you know, the increasing of people, we also have still the gang violence. We still have to sort on police officers. Our people are dying. I mean, every week somebody's being kidnapped. One of our businessmen are being kidnapped. Are being killed. You know, so things aren't really improving from Fadil, Nolin, and Jovan. And I think for this reason, we as people, make it, don't make it colored. We as people, as South Africans, needs to
I'm
realize
comfortable
that
with colored, Stan. I'm comfortable with colored.
we need to realize that, you know, we can't go on like this anymore. It's time for us for serious change, because these people that moved here from the Eastern Cape are also looking. Some of them are genuinely looking for opportunity. Some of the provinces are doing bad because of under the leadership of the ANC. And for that reason, people are moving to Cape Town because it's just a bit better here, you know. So we need to look at the bigger problem. The bigger problem is national government. National government is stealing us bankrupt. Money is not going to. I mean, that 500 billion rand. If we use that money, what could have we have built? We could have built how many houses, how many infrastructures. More money are being stolen. I mean, under the watch of Cyril Ramaphosa, there's more corruption happening. There's more killings happening. So it comes down to national government that is allowing this to happen. So I don't know if you guys want to end up with something. With your last words, we've come to an hour. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. But I think this is something that we're gonna have to talk more about. And also, people, please do support this coming Thursday night. Anything
Yeah,
from you guys?
I would also just, when I say like, come through on Thursday.
Yeah.
Let it not just be talk, man, because talk is, like we always say, that talk is cheap, man. So don't let it just be talk. Don't, if you're gonna, it's like they call it just ending off for the empathy. It's not that we don't feel, it's not that we don't want to feel. It's that I'm feeling for my neighbor, I'm feeling for my children, I'm feeling for my community, I'm
Yeah.
feeling on my side as well. And I'm saying they're calling it integrated housing development, but you're only integrating it in the Cape Flats area. How does that work? It's supposed to be integrated across the Western Cape, it's not just here. So you're integrating something in the previously apartheid areas. That's what you're doing. You're just busing more people there. You put in more houses there. Yet you're calling it the integration. It's because you don't want those things in your areas. So let's let the numbers come. Stand, punt it on Cape Flats.
I
Get it
will.
on Facebook. Let everybody know when it's happening. And then that's the reality. The reality, the proof is in the pudding when you see the people there.
That's
We
right.
want to see our communities. We want to see Rocklands. We want to see all the areas of
Even
Stramontelli.
Stramerton also need to come. Stramerton also
They
need to
must
come
come.
out in the numbers. Stramerton
Don't
se
be scared
mense
of
dink
Mitchell's
hulle bly
Plain.
Musenbergen.
Don't be
The
scared of
whole
Mitchell's Plain, guys.
exactly
Don't
the
be scared
whole
of
of
Mitchell's
Mitchell's
Plain.
Plain must be there. And to say, listen here, because we're always saying we're speaking for us. Now we're saying we're speaking, we're here, we're gonna be talking, come stand with us. You don't have to be in the front line, but come stand with us, man. You can be behind us. Just to support. That's all we need. Just to not to say, okay, listen, in totality, the Cape Flats area is had enough. We can go
Yeah.
into so many other stuff, but I mean, this is where we're starting. So let's be there on Thursday. Rocklands, I mean, Stan, I know you'll punt it. Let's put it in our community groups. Let everybody come through.
Yeah. Yeah. Nolan, anything from your side?
Nolan's frozen there.
Frozen. Fadil, your side?
Oh no, Lily moved. She moved. I saw there was life. There's life. Okay.
Noli,
So guys, for me, it's like this.
Can you
For the
hear
last
me?
17 years. Okay, we let the
yeah.
lady go first.
Okay, yes, Nolin? We can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes?
Oh, we're having problem here. No, I just
Nolin, if
wanted to say
if you switch your
in
camera off, your audio
closing
is better.
that know unity is strength, man.
Mm-mm.
So all we have to do is just unite and stand together, learn to just stand together.
Mm-mm. Awesome. Fadil, from your side?
You know, guys, it might shock some of you, but for the last 17 years, housing housing assistance has been given on an 80-20 split in the Western Cape, 80% black. Now, I want to understand, I really want to understand how you go about and marginalize the majority. Because the decision was made 17 years ago by the same DA that you vote for so faithfully. Bugger the colors. They don't need that much, apparently. This is only coming to a head now because of this one issue. But there are 1,000 issues like this. We stand up on Thursday or we lie down permanently. That's what it's come to.
That's
What
right.
it's come to. You know, we have to draw a line somewhere. We have to
Yeah.
make these people understand that this is it. This is it. Sadly, you know, we are handcuffed, you know, hamstrung by a government that sends R1 billion worth of housing money back to national treasury unspent.
Mm-mm.
And this government is so good at marketing, eh, that they get away with it.
Yeah.
But I don't care about the marketing, and I honestly don't care about your political affiliation. And I know many people watching this don't like me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're going to win this fight, you're going to need me.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to win this fight, I'm going to need you.
That's right.
So we have to get together. I don't care what party you support me. Ultimately, this is about a principle, and the principle is a very simple thing, that there will no longer be anything for us without us. Decisions can't be made by a group of 50-odd year old white men sitting in a room somewhere,
Mm-mm.
ticking boxes that impact us for the next 25 years.
That's right.
That is just unfair.
Mm-mm.
So we're asking you, come out on Thursday. Make it known that we are not happy with this. Because I can tell you that for whatever denials you hear from whoever, and you know what? I believe some of these ward councillors when they wash their hands in innocence. But I can tell you for a fact that provincially, the Democratic Alliance has made this decision, bugger Mitchell's Plain, bugger colored people. At a provincial level, our Premier, our MEC, and various other stakeholders have decided that we will move these people there and they will pay the price, they being us. So, you know what? Get off your
I
chair,
agree with
get off your phone,
you
get to
there.
the meeting, make it known. We are
Yeah.
not going to take this. Stanley, I can only
I'll see
talk
you
for
on
so
Thursday
long.
night.
It's a minute and
I will
5.
be there. But
Will
look
you?
here, do you guys think on the dinner, so we should actually get that guys here in Cape Town, your Cameron Dugmore and what's his name and Faiz, and we should actually ask them why aren't they standing up? Why aren't they taking the matter to their executive board? Because I mean they know exactly what's happening here.
Couch.
So maybe we should actually get Faiz maybe next week and ask him to join us, and he needs to also be accountable. I don't know
Definitely.
if you guys feel okay with it, but I think that is something that we need to look in. But thank you so much, Fadil, Nolin, and Jovan. Ons het nou oor dit uitgegaan. And let's continue this
All of
next
you
week. I will get him.
can put it on your WhatsApp status.
Take it easy, guys. Nice to meet you, Jovan. Nolin, go well. Bye.
Meet you, brother.
No.
See you, Stan.
Thank you so much, everybody.
And Elaine.
I'll see you guys next week again. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Father Adams and Jovan and Nolan that joined us. But I think you know what? I think we should have more of the ANC guys also in here. We should. There's many of you that are still voting for the ANC. Many of you are still voting for the ANC, and we need the ANC needs to. Many of the ANC's people are currently running. You know, they're running, and promoting the ANC here in Cape Town. So we need to get them here and ask them, also, what are you guys doing to improve our communities? Because you are still national government, you still have the power to change things in the Cape Flats, or in Cape Town. So that's the thing that we need to ask them. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I want to see you guys there. I will be there. I will be broadcasting live from the hopefully this coming Thursday, for the mere fact, for those people that can't genuinely be there, those that are working, those that don't have transport. But I want to ask you to come out in numbers. Julle wat kan kom is in die Rocklinson. I will post all the details here tomorrow and Thursday. Stick out. You know what? It's no use we're gonna talk. There was 110 people on here consistently. 78 people like this post or hate it or whatever. But I know there is thousands of people that's gonna watch this broadcast. I want you in the thousands to come out tomorrow, Thursday night. That's the only way how we gonna, get the attention is when we come in the number. We need to come in the number. Number speaks volume, and numbers changes people's minds. Jovan said something. You have guys that comes into our communities and do feasibility studies. Hulle bly nie eens hier nie. They do feasibility studies on our behalf. How can they do feasibility studies on our behalf if they don't know what's happening, what we're really earning? You can't do service and stuff. You need to know the people. And for that reason, we need to say, but guys, your feasibility studies are not accurate, you know. But yeah, ek het baie gepraat. Please do come on Thursday night. I will definitely broadcast live. I will be there. And let's do this in a respectable manner. We are not fighting against our brothers and sisters. We all are South Africans. We understand. I mean, I have people in my community, in my family that's also unemployed, it's also struggling. I know the struggle. I know they don't have money. I know they don't have food. I don't know. I know they don't always have. I understand that. I understand that. But we need to also keep government accountable. What are you doing to create jobs? What are you doing to help our communities? Because we are suffocating in our communities. And we need to understand that we need to have, that empathy of other people as well, but we also need to do it correctly. There's a correct way of doing things. But that's all from me. I want you guys to definitely come on board on Thursday. Please do come out. En asseblief gedrag vir julle. Moet hierdie mense gooi met stoele en met skoene en goed nie. Come out, listen and bring up valuable points. Ek het opgelet dat baie van ons mense kon uit die meetings toe praat. Hulle klom nonsens. Hulle is kwaad vir die Horde Council, hulle is kwaad vir die en die. If you come with questions that are relevant to the topic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Stay blessed. And I see you guys on Thursday night. Ek gaan ook alwees, ons kan foto's vat, né? Cheers.